Hello, I'm Richard Coleman, and I'm running for the office of Sheriff of Chatham County. And when I'm elected, I promise to inspect what I expect. Chatham County, it's time for a change, and that change is me, Richard Coleman.
All right, good morning. We're back another
Good
Saturday
morning.
on the Watchdogs on our Black Media Network. Mr. Coleman, how are you?
Fine, Dr. Brian. How you doing?
And we're rocking and rolling. I don't know where my two co-hosts are, but maybe they're still recovering from St. Patrick's Day. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
so how are you doing this? It's a great Saturday morning.
It's a beautiful Saturday morning. It's a pleasure to be here with the great Dr. Robert Bryan and just share some content with our citizens here in Chatham County.
That's right. That's right. So I'll tell you one thing. It's no secret. I think people have seen the signs around the city that you are running for sheriff of Chatham County.
Yes.
I'm gonna give you about a good 3 to 5 minutes. Tell us who you are and how you kind of got in that pathway.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. To everyone who does not know me, my name is Richard Coleman. Many call me Chief because I'm a former chief of police. I'm a 30-year certified Georgia peace officer. Like I said, former chief of police, former assistant chief of police operation commander, as well as chief of internal affairs. So, experience kind of speaks for itself when it comes to the qualifications for that seat. I'm a native of Savannah, a graduate of Saucy Johnson High School. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice administration. I am soon to be a 2024 graduate with a master's degree in public administration. Knock on wood, it's just the last quarter here, Dr. Bryan. So I'm kind of trying to chase your footsteps there. And as well as I am a Georgia certified law enforcement executive, which is very key. It's very important. To the position of a sheriff, which holds a budget about $65 million. So it's not, we're not one of these small kinds where you can rah. You got to kind of know what you're doing to get in that seat.
Right. And so our other co-host joined us, Carlton, Mr. Richard Coleman, running for sheriff.
Mr. Carlton, how you doing?
Good morning.
How's everything?
It's Saturday, and I don't have to go back to work for 9 days, so I'm
excited. Understood.
You seem excited.
Understood.
So we just basically were intros. He was sharing. He's running for sheriff and kind of why he got to that decision. But let me ask you, Richard. I know you have all of the experiences and the background and the administrative pieces to make you a successful sheriff. But what made you say, you know what, I want to go through all of the bureaucracy, all the things, all the red tape, all of the struggles and challenges to make this place a better system? So what kind of got you in that space?
Well, it's actually, being here, living here, Dr. Bryan, hearing things, experiencing things, knowing that, you have a lot to offer individually within yourself. And you want to make those changes around you. They always say there's no place like home. There's no place like the area in which you live in. And when you're conscious around of your surroundings and politically conscious of things around you, you got to ask yourself, okay, where can I fit in to be a part of this, to bring that effective change in my neighborhood and my communities? And the sheriff's office is where it's at for me. That's the position for me. I believe I can do a lot of good things to our city, to our county, for our citizens, for our communities through that position. Some people have aspirations to do this and that. I don't believe that. I feel like you don't go where you're not talented or gifted at. You need to go where your gifts will take you. And I think that being in that office is definitely where I can benefit the people of Chatham County the most.
You're running against Wilshire, correct?
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess my first question would be, it's always we always have a contradiction about what our opponents do. So what would be, I'm pretty sure you looked at some of his policies and what you would like, what some that he has and some that you would like to change. Can you kind of go into that a little bit, if you would?
Absolutely. The key thing is in any representation is always hearing from your constituents, the people that you represent. In my situation, the good thing about that is the entire county. So, being out in the community, speaking with people, we have to address things. Number one is that mental health issue. Citizens feel like, Chatham County should not be the leading provider for mental health resources in the southeastern part of Georgia, right? Unfortunately, we are. So we've got to address mental health. These people need treatment, not incarceration, right? They need help, not jail. So we've got to address that with providing diversionary opportunities other resources other than jail. I said that I would when elected. Right now, I believe the Georgia Regional it's part county and part state. So the county has a say so in the operation of that situation over there. Now we know of course we look more into details with that. But one thing I've thought about is offering for the mental health individuals is the county having a wing over that facility where we don't have to take individuals out to the jail. We can take them straight to the facility that gives them that help and that treatment and those resources that they need versus taking people out to the jail, using tax dollars funding for that. And we can actually get them in resources and centers where they actually can be treated and can be serviced properly. Another issue that we were having was inmate visitation. Grandma can't get to grandson because it costs too much, right? I think since COVID, they went to a satellite visitation program. And from one article that I read is when we're asked to release the numbers for that program, the sheriff was very reluctant to do that. My understanding is that he made over $400,000 off of that program. And now what it does is you're paying so much for so many minutes. But the program is not always working properly. You might pay for 30 minutes, you might get 5 or 8 minutes, but you paid the full price. A lot of people are not tech savvy. They still don't have resource to even participate in that program. And these are issues. Loved ones shouldn't be punished because they want to have contact with those who they love who are currently incarcerated. And so what I plan and propose is to go back to old school in-person visitation.
Yeah.
I'm not going to punish anybody for that. Come on and see your loved one. We don't have issues with that. You have to have a humanity side about you as well. It's still a service to the people. So those were two main issues, Mr. Carlton, that I've come across in the community that I want to address immediately.
From my interpretation of what you're saying, you have a more of a restorative justice model which you would like to follow.
Yes.
And you actually are not the only candidate only person who I know that has decided to update that model. But a lot of people are against it. They feel like if they did it, they got to be punished for it. They need to stay in there. They need to do that. But that's not always the truth.
No.
Because sometimes people make mistakes, but so sometimes some people make mistakes, but then others are just habitual offenders. But
Exactly. Well, you have to ask yourself, sheriff's department is probably only responsible for putting about 5 to 10% of the population out there, because right now the way the government and sheriff's office, it's courthouse security, the jail administration, as well as civil service, right? They enforce dispositions from the court, so they're only responsible for probably about 5 or 10% of the inmate population, if that, right? So my point to that is, we didn't bring them out here. That doesn't mean we don't have to mistreat folks. That it just doesn't work like that, We're here. They're still human. There's still regulations that must be followed and must be applied. And we don't have to mistreat folks simply because they're in jail. I don't know where people get that mindset from, that because you're incarcerated, all of a sudden you've lost all your human rights. All of a sudden you're not a man, you're not a woman. There's no dignity to be held of you. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to let people know that this is not personal. This is our job out here. These are the rules that we got to follow. But while we're out here, we're going to treat you like human beings. Like you said, we're part of that restorative justice, right? We're going to make sure that you get every resource and allocation that you are entitled to while you're incarcerated.
Well, that's good. I mean,
Yes,
because the one thing I've learned is that I ain't gonna say everybody, because everybody ain't meant to be helped, but people do deserve a second chance.
absolutely.
If you're trying, now you should be able to. You should have the resources and the help that's out there to help.
Right. Yes.
So, what would you say would be your top two challenges if elected to that role?
Well, number one is right now is going to be staffing. That's going to be the main challenge. Um, I had a meeting probably about a few weeks back or a month ago, so now with former jail administrator Colonel MacArthur Holmes. Most people know him as Deacon Holmes, right? And we were sitting there talking, and then one thing he says that should you be elected, you really have to focus on that jail. That is your priority. That's where it makes you or breaks you, right? And so right now, I believe a news piece came out not long ago saying that they were short, Dr. Bryan, about 115 employees, and these are correctional officers, right? That's a lot of positions. Now, from the inside source, I'm understanding that those numbers may be challenged a little bit, right? It could be up to probably about 200, right? People are going on their lunch breaks, not coming back. It's just all kind of problems from what I'm hearing. It's just not a good situation out there, despite what you see or what you hear. It's nothing like getting it from the inside. People are judging a book by its cover, but for those who are inside reading those pages, they know exactly what's going on. So that's the big challenge. The way I combat that is to be prepared. I believe that if you know a situation is there, and you have the opportune time to be prepared before you get into that situation. And so what I've done is I've established a list of people signing up with me every day that's ready to come to work. So right now we have about 200 to 300 something names of individuals who are ready to come to work. So come January 2025, we're going to fill those positions so we can overcome that obstacle almost immediately. Now, it may take a little time. Background checks have to be done. Some kind of weed themselves out through that. However, but for those who can meet the standards and the qualifications, we're ready to put them to work. The second challenge is like I said, was mental health as well as the visitation. Those were the top three that we have right now. I think at some point, the sheriff is recognized as the chief law enforcement officer of the county. And so at some point, we're going to have to play our part from the sheriff's office to help fight crime in our area. And I think that we're going to, that's going to be a challenge because, that takes a lot of lobbying, a lot of conversation between myself as the sitting sheriff, as well as the county commissioners.
Mm-hmm.
I got another question for you. Back home from where I'm from, our sheriff is relatively accessible. Though it's a smaller county, he's fairly accessible. When you become sheriff, will you be as accessible?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, your constituents, that's your support base. That's what gets you elected. I think, without calling names, there were a few politicians in some of these past, current elections who, wanted to get out there, but were not accessible to the people. I think that's the number one rule to even get in politics. How accessible are you to your constituents? And people might say, well, that might get sick. No, that's kind of what you signed up for, right? That's kind of what you signed up for. That just comes with the territory. I'll be available 24/7. If, of course, there's certain situations where I can't get to you right away, but I mean, the minute that I can get back to you, I will get back to you. Even now, even on my campaign material, I didn't go buy a secondary phone. That's my phone number. That's my personal phone number that people now call me on, and that they go out on flyers all over the county. And you can call me at any given time. If I can help you, whatever I can do, I make myself available to help you. I will avail myself.
So I forgot my whole question there. Quick, Carlton, go ahead. I'll come back to it. One of the moments, because I was like, yeah. Oh, I do. It came back to. I'm gonna go ahead.
No, I'm gonna say go ahead because what I got to say can wait either way. So go ahead.
So
you
one of the things, Richard, and you mentioned a little bit of this around reform, and we talk about the criminal justice system being rather a mechanism for corrections or to help people to grow or to develop into different spaces. But as become more capitalistic, how do you see that shifting, or how do you see yourself contributing, if elected, to shifting that whole mindset?
Well, you know, uh, I think everything starts from within, Dr. Bryant, right? As the sitting sheriff, you kind of control the narrative, right? So you can kind of predict the direction that things are going, and that is the beauty as well as the power of that seat. That seat, it's its own governing board, right? You call your shots, you control the narrative, you control the director. So whatever direction you need to go in with addressing those issues, we talking about reform and rehabilitation, creating those initiatives that are going to be effective, right? Getting people in there who are going to have the mindset to make sure the initiatives are effective. Getting away from just, hey, you got to be here, you got to do this, you got to do that. No, versus establishing graduations at the jail, right? We want to see big graduation with high school diplomas. Let the parents and the people come out and be a part of that, right? We want to partner with Savannah Tech. I don't know if they are now, to bring as many satellite programs as we can in there, to provide education for individuals. I was studying, I saw where some jails are even offering CDL programs. At some point somebody understands, if you put a little money in a man's pocket, kind of changes his mind about the other things that they want to do, right? So we want to, it's the direction of the seat, it's the direction of the person that's in charge, and how much they actually care about providing effective reform and rehabilitation initiatives, and changing that whole narrative about the reform process.
I'm glad you said there right there, because me and Robert were talking about a couple of weeks ago, and I was telling him about two gentlemen. I work for Chatham County. I drive school bus, and I was asking the kids like what they wanted to be when they grew up, and the two young men both unanimously told me nothing. And when they said nothing, I was like, that bothered me to my core, because that leads you down a road that you don't know what you want to do, so you're gonna be out here. I say, so the fact of, I don't want them to get to that point. But if it gets to that point, the fact that somebody is out there trying to help you benefit and move forward, so you don't end up back in this situation, that makes all the difference.
Right.
Because a lot of times these people out here, they get into situations where they're doing what they feel like they have to do to survive.
Right. I would like to part of my platform is, I would like to start, and this is self-initiated by myself, is what I call a CARE unit, CARE. That stands for Career and Rehabilitation Efforts Unit, right? And so essentially what we do is, what that unit will be responsible for is, we get the information upon release dates of inmates, and so if we know that an inmate is coming up for release, probably say in 2 or 3 weeks, we're meeting with that individual, we're talking to them, we're counseling, we're trying to find things that they like to do. And so that will be responsible for going out into the community, and we're going to provide, I want 3 interviews established for these individuals who are being released. 3 individuals. Now, we can't make anybody hire you, right? But we want to provide you with 3 interviews upon your release, to give you that jump start and that drive and that initiative for you to go forward as you go back into society. Now, some people, of course, this is a county system that we're talking about. So, some people stay as not quite as long as others, right? They don't lose their jobs. They don't have those problems in between. But for those, I think the max time out at the county system is, I think that's 2 years. Is the 2 years is the max that you can do in the county jail system. For those who kind of borderline that deadline, and they are coming back into our community, into our society, we want to provide 3 job opportunities where upon their release, they're sitting down in front of somebody, they're getting job interviews, and we pray that those businesses who come in partnership with the sheriff's office will actually offer actually give these individuals an opportunity of employment, even if it's temporarily. We just want to get you jump started.
All right. Well, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Richard Coleman, and I'm running for the office of Sheriff of Chatham County. And when I'm elected, I promise to inspect what I expect. Chatham County, it's time for a change, and that change is me, Richard Coleman.
Okay.
We're back.
I'm sorry I'm late, gentlemen. Y'all can hear me?
Oh yeah, we knew you had a question.
Okay. Brother Coleman, good to have you here.
Mr. Hall, thank you, sir.
Okay. This is one of them shows where it's always those tough questions.
Absolutely.
So we just make sure that you can got the answer. I know you got the answer for it. So my question is, how can you help with the increased crime rate that we're seeing balloon all over Savannah and Chatham County, knowing that the sheriff department doesn't do a lot of law enforcement? We know the sheriff takes care of the jail, sheriff serves warrants, the sheriff takes care of the courtrooms. You see the sheriff sometimes out on the highway, so there is some limited law enforcement that is done by the sheriff department. So how do we, knowing what's happening all across the country, do you see that the sheriff department needs to take a different shift? That the
Jackie, what you about to do?
That the Robert, why you talking? Robert, you got to mute yourself. How can we get the sheriff department, all sheriff departments, to help with law enforcement itself? We know that that's not one of the duties of it right now, but is there anything that, being that it's the highest law enforcement agency in any city or any county, how it seems like you can have a bigger role in law enforcement? So what's your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's a very good question, Mr. Like you said, according to the Georgia Constitution, you touched on this, the sheriff is the chief law enforcement officer in the county. Now, and as you said, they're mandated to those three primary duties that, those are constitutional duties, is jail administration, courthouse security, as well as civil service, right? But there's also in that clause where it says, that the sheriff has a responsibility for enforcement and overseeing crime, right? And so, a lot of sheriff's departments, some of what they call full service. That means they offer that law enforcement that you're talking about. But then, you have some, and normally you face situations like that, which is what we have in Savannah, when you have a county police department as well as a sheriff's department, where they say, well, we will let the county police department handle the law enforcement public service duties, and we'll let the sheriff just do his constitutional duties. So if you're facing that as a sitting sheriff in that type of situation, the thing is that nothing stops you as sheriff from still enforcing. And so now what you want to do is you got to be very careful, because you want to be respectful of others governing bodies, government, right? And other departments. So what you can do is offer your department as a resource and support units to other areas. So what I would do as a sitting chair is to initiate some law enforcement units as a support unit to other areas. Say Savannah had a shooting in a certain area, well, you're going to have a lot of manpower, Mr. Hall, that's tied up in that area. Now you still have other areas of Savannah that still need to be covered, and so you got all this manpower type. And so what we can do as the sheriff's department is have that community patrol unit to come on over and ride that area while Savannah is taking care, of the shooting investigation. So it's more of a support unit, right? And if say smaller PDs, particularly smaller PDs, like a Thunderbolt, they may not have the personnel or the tools to investigate certain crime. Well, you can bring that to us, and we allow one of our detectives to come out there, use our resources to go ahead and assist you in investigating that crime. And so this is the position that I'm in, saying, hey, let's play our part. I want to play a part in support of crime prevention in Chatham County. Now, of course, you're going to have to go to your commissioners, because everything requires funding, right? And so
that was my next question.
Right.
How
Everything
do you
requires
get the funding so that you can do the things that are necessary, so that your job is not to fill the jails. Your job is to control the jail.
Right. Well,
if nobody came to jail, it would be better.
Right. Exactly. You at that point, I like to say, Mr. Hall, you become a good politician, right? You've got to state your case before the commissioners. One thing about it is, everybody, you can never have enough law enforcement in an area that's overcome by crime.
I know one of the things that you told me when we first talked a couple of years ago, when you said you wanted to run for sheriff, and we had this talk, and you said that one of the things you said, well, they got T-Splosh, right? They got a tax for T-Splosh, and you said they got a tax for E-Splosh for education, right? And you said let's have a tax for L-Splosh for law.
Right. For law enforcement. Right.
So you can increase the budgets for that. Right. For that. Let's see if we can get the motel hotel tax to be a part of law enforcement.
That's right.
Tourists. So law enforcement needs a boost also. If you tax for education and infrastructure for the roads, education ain't gonna do you no good if you have a chaotic society.
That's right.
Tourists ain't gonna do you no good if you got a chaotic society. So you have to have a chaotic community. So you have to have those things. And it was a great idea that you came up with asking the legislatures, the legislators of state legislators to come up with funding or a tax that can be implemented that will fund nothing but police. You can hire more officers. You can do all these things we already know where the crime areas are. Right. You know where the high crime areas are. So you do increased patrol, even if it's your own sheriff the detail that you put in that area, just to hold it down. Because one thing for sure, if they see the police there, they're not going to commit the crime. Exactly. So when you got 1 and 2 units patrolling one particular beat, and then they go out for a call for service, then
everything's left wide open. Yes.
Wide open,
right. If they're investigating that shooting, everything else is wide open. And that's where we can benefit the county as well as these other agencies. And that's why I say, you have to put on your political hat. And that I always say that sheriff has just 2 parts to that seat, right? That's the law enforcement position, but there's still that political part that you have to go and you have to lobby for these tax funds and these tax dollars to represent law enforcement so we can support the community. So you're absolutely right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
You know, in Chatham County, education does have the biggest budget as far as the county, city, all of that. So the issue is going to come that people are already feeling the pressure of the economy right now, with the fact that inflation is came and everything is so high. So you really want to sit up and tell the constituents, I want to raise your taxes so we as a law enforcement agency can get more money, so we can have a LSPLOS fund for law enforcement when their millage rate is already at an all-time high. They're not going to sit well with the fact that, oh, I have to pay you more. I have to pay more money in taxes and this, that, and the third to accommodate you. So besides the LSPLOS or a tax increase, what is another way that you could possibly get the funds that you see in your eyesight?
Well, you know, the jail has a $65 million budget, right? Okay, that budget is cut into two parts. I think, and Dr. Brian, you helped me with my math here. I think 52% is the jail, and 13, that's what I got left over. No,
Danny was good at that.
right.
28.
The other portion is for enforcement. Now I totally agree with you. That's where you're going to run into problems with particularly conservative voters who are saying, "Hey, these are my tax dollars you're talking about here." You know, that's why I said earlier is that you have to look at you can retrieve some of those funds by addressing the mental health situation. You know, if we stop the jail from being the biggest leader in mental health hospital, because that's not what the jail is designed for, right? And we can get individuals who deal with mental health in their proper setting. You know, we can have resources and money to allocate towards law enforcement the way it's supposed to be. And so it's a check and balance system here. You know, when I was talking to Colonel Holmes, he said that psych medicine, even the generic brand that comes to the jail, one pill is $400. Now you talking about 30% of your jail, right? 30% of your population is mental health. Taking that medicine 4 times a day. 4 times a day.
That's serious.
That's serious money. It adds up. It adds up. Now, if they're standing there in extended stay to almost 2 years, look at that money. Look at if we can deal with that mental health and get that mental health in the place where it's supposed to be. Look at the funds that we can now allocate back toward community and law enforcement, which is the position of the sheriff's office, without raising tax dollars, without saying, hey, let me go before you and we need the LSPLOS. But at the same time, when you have crime, you've got to say, are you willing to pay? It's a tough decision. Are you willing to pay for safety? Because law enforcement is public safety. That's what it's all about. What are you really willing to pay for? I think not a while ago, some time ago, I think in all three, you probably remember, there was an issue with, I think that was the county fire department wanting to raise taxes. So they essentially they were I think it's Southside, which is the county fire department. Essentially, they were saying is they needed, I think it was a city or a county, I can't remember which entity, but essentially they were looking at raising taxes to support the fire department, right? And I think that they actually imposed a tax base, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just saying, talking in general, because I don't have my facts in front of me. But it's kind of the same situation. It might hurt you, but it's public safety. When you go to a funeral, ask that mother, does she want to raise taxes, or does she had more law enforcement services provided to help her situation? That's kind of how you think. Everything is not like that, but that's kind of how you're balancing things out.
Yeah.
So you're talking 13, and I get your figure now. You were saying $52 million of that goes to the jail. And
Yes,
13 left. So you got 13 for other 13
the other
million.
areas. You're right. Okay. That goes to the enforcement side. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So roughly,
I didn't have my numbers in front of me. That's correct. Yes, that's correct.
75% or so goes to the jail.
To the jail. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, I got
now,
you.
Mental health is taking up a great part of that budget.
Back in the day, it was you had Georgia Regional. We didn't take people to that was mentally
Right.
You could evaluate that person right there and saw that something was wrong with him. You
Right.
didn't take a mentally challenged person to the jail. You took them to
Right.
Georgia Regional.
Right.
I got some
Right.
friends I want to take there myself.
Right. Right. Right.
But you don't take them to the jail because they're not going to be treated fair.
The
They're
same.
going to be
Right.
treated the same as any other inmate, and they
Right.
need special care.
They need special
And
care.
like you say, these drug companies and everything, they overinflate the prices of the drugs,
Mhm.
and they need to be in a facility where they're getting this mental health treatment,
Right.
and the drugs are less
Right.
expensive than being in a
Right.
jail. Jail
Absolutely.
buy it in bulk like a mental institution can.
That's
And they
right.
have
That's right.
contracts with the pharmaceutical company. So that's just some things that, and I mean, it's become a huge part of law enforcement now, dealing with mental health.
Yes. Yes.
And but it needs to go back into the hospital.
Right.
They
Right.
had those sections where it was cornered off. Maybe the jail can
Right.
just provide the security for it. But
Right.
it still needs to go to mental health professionals
Right.
so that
Right.
it can be a
Right.
person can get the right help. You can't get the right help laying in a cell.
No, they
all
need
day long.
treatment, not incarceration. They need
Yeah.
treatment.
Mhm.
Yeah, they need treatment, and that goes back to Brother Carlton. So I want to make sure I make sure I hit on what you're saying about the tax dollar. That's why I initially said that we want to address this problem so we don't have to press the taxpayer, right? You know, we want to try to see what we can do internally first before we go to the commissioners and say, hey, look, we got a problem here. We're not going to correct this overnight, but I need X, Y, and Z funding, and now we got to put on our political caps and see how we can address these issues.
Yeah, because if they could take up money for to give to the tourism industry from the hotel tax to promote the city, hell, what you promoting somebody to come to a city that might be unsafe? So
Right.
a part of that money needs to be it don't have to be above board to say, I mean, everything is transparent, but when you're talking about politicians now, if they're going to get a 2% increase in, they can ask for 3 for hotel tax, and then they can say, well, part of this is for law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to
Right.
be a L splat. Oh, what? Yeah, it don't have to be. It needs, and that's what you had said before, that
Right.
they might not look at it good because of the fire department getting turned down, wanting the tax.
Right.
But
Mhm.
you're talking about people's lives. You're
Right.
talking about the fire department doesn't get calls for service like the police department.
Right.
You know? So it's a whole different environment. It's a whole different category here when you're talking about calls for service from the police officers. And those tourists want to feel safe. You
Absolutely.
know, those tourists pour money into our cities and into our county. And then that's how we pay for emergency services and other accommodations and activities and stuff that the city sponsors and the county sponsors. So, you know, it needs to be money melted out to law enforcement from that tax.
You know, I do got a question. Years ago, somebody told me that like the city and the county and like all smaller divisions, they had to pay Chatham County for the housing of the inmates. So is that not true? And if so, why can't we just increase the rates for them continuously bringing the people over?
Now let me make sure I understand your question, Brother Carlton. You saying now that the cities pay to house inmates? That's correct. If that's what I'm hearing, that's what I'm hearing from you. Yeah,
but
that is correct.
Because the county houses all the inmates for all of Chatham, because so the sheriff's office houses inmates for all of Chatham County. There's, I guess, my question is, make sure I'm saying this correctly, is that don't they have to pay out of their budget for their people who they bring in to be there?
Yes, it's a daily cost. Now I don't know the going rate. I know back in when I was the chief out there in Thunderbolt, I think we were paying up to about $40+ a day for inmate, right? And that's just a small agency, not bringing in many people at a time, right? But I mean, if you think about someone like Savannah, and the numbers that they bring, like I said, I don't know the incarceration fee now, but they do have an incarceration fee that they impose on municipalities, as well, and other even I don't know if county agencies are subject to that fee. I know state agencies are not. When I was chief of internal affairs over at Savannah State, I remember them saying that we were not responsible. We didn't have to pay that inmate fee. But you're right; those fees are imposed daily. That's probably why you see they have a quick court system where they want to get these individuals in front of a judge, get them bound over, and now that bill goes into the state. It's the state's responsibility now. So if that's what you're talking about, I hope I'm answering your question. That's what you're talking
about. But
Mm-hmm.
also, currently in one of our other agencies, it's a process where they have some new leadership, and that particular person she is restructuring everybody around her. She's making sure that everybody who holds these higher positions are qualified and able to do their duties as the person who before them said they were. So are you going to go in and make sure that everybody who has a position of authority and power are capable and well to the level to meet the need of that job duty?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I use the I say it like this. It's like a head coach being brought in, right? A new coach into a situation. They have the ability to retain what is there, and they also have the ability to bring in what they feel they need. Now, you're talking when you're talking sheriff. Remember now, you got to understand that. I know you understand. Excuse me. You have to remember that this is political too, right? And so a big part of a sheriff coming into a position is he's got to surround himself with people with the know-how, as well as he got to surround himself with people he trusts. Because if you don't, you'll be out of a job by your constituents, the people. But if we're looking at it face value, you come in, you evaluate, you're saying to yourself, yes, this guy can do this for me. They can do this. They can do this. So you definitely got to evaluate what's around you. But at the same time, you got to trust what's around you because it is an elected seat. It is a political seat, and you can never forget that part of it. Now we not. Now let me get a little depth in to answer your question. I'm not looking to make people unemployed. That's not my direction. Should I be elected, right? And I think that they have a lot of good talent in place right now. In their leadership that can be effective. Now, now getting the max results of those individuals up to you as that leader, because now they answer to you. So now they're going to respond to the directives that you would have them to do. But I think that, I always felt like I'm an individual who can come in a situation and not just abruptly replace everybody that's in place, but I can get max results from the people who are there. And I would look to do that first before I actually made the changes that I need.
Yeah, because the department's already short-staffed, so you don't want to get rid of people.
Right.
More
right.
short-staffed.
Oh man, you'd be in a bad situation.
Yeah, people that can just be moved around, I guess, and all kind of stuff. It's all kind of stuff I guess can be done.
Right.
Yeah.
I hope that answers your question, brother. I want to make sure you got some very good questions. I want to make sure I'm answering your question.
Oh no, you answer them real. You answer them as well as I would expect you to. I'm gonna say it like this: I have been approached by several people who are in the county who are residents who are supporting you. One of them who's in my neighborhood, and that lady walked up on me getting out my car and made sure that I got a flyer with your name on it.
That's a good.
That's it. Thank you. That's it. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Okay. We're gonna go to a commercial break again, and we'll be right back and ask you our final questions. We got about 10-15 minutes left, and we'll go from there. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, we back. I had to come back because it seems like Robert and Carlton has changed the dynamics of the show. You know, the Watchdogs usually was in a. This is how the Watchdogs started off. The Watchdogs was in a cap and a suit coat. You know, that's the way it was supposed to be. You know, and Robert, he did it for the first year. He done got.
No, consistency is not my thing.
Okay.
Don't tell Carlton that we'll be up in here with a whole tuxedo on.
Yeah, I seen Carlton dress now. He dapper. Yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Listen, the one thing I learned is people don't care what you got on. People want to hear what come out your mouth. As long as it's effective, and delivers the point across when you deliver it, they're gonna like, oh, we know him. That's the casual one. Y'all continue the way Blaze. I'm gonna be the casual one over here.
That's the casual one.
You're in charge, y'all. That's how that works.
But I do got a question for you. You know, people have a distrust of police and law enforcement in general. So how will you, once you become sheriff, teach your deputies to create a better rapport with the communities that they serve?
Training, and more training. You know, even being a police officer many years, being a law enforcement executive, believe it or not, when I'm traveling, I'm still subject to the same problems that African Americans face every day across the nation with law enforcement. It doesn't start with me, you know. And I don't, you know, my point is, I don't feel like I have to identify myself for you to treat me like somebody, right? You know, you shouldn't be treating me like a human because I say, hey, I'm a fellow police officer. You should treat me like a human being because I'm just that. I'm a human being, right? And so, you know, I too experience that and encounter that as I go back and forth a lot, actually. And so when you have those personal experiences, you always tell yourself, if you're in charge, this is definitely something that I'm going to make sure doesn't happen, especially if I'm the head that's been the representation there. And that starts with training. I don't know if Mr. Hall can tell you, it was a situation that happened way back. And Julius, I can't think of what it was, but we had talked that if they knew how to approach our community, that would not have happened. I don't know if it was a shooting or something that happened with the law enforcement officer, but that let me know that they had no diversity training, no inclusion training. You know, there was just no sense of being comfortable around other citizens other than their own. And we just felt like if they had encountered more interdepartmental training when it comes down to dealing with diversity, dealing with inclusion, you know, the rights of people, you know, I think that situation would not have happened. And so I hammer in on that, on training, and more training, and accountability. Remember now, I was chief of internal affairs, so I policed the police. And that big part of that was law enforcement accountability. You know, you're no different than anyone else when you break the law or mistreat our citizens. Just because you had that badge doesn't give you any type of special privilege to go out there and misrepresent our department and mistreat other citizens. And so it's training.
In law enforcement, you want people to feel at ease around.
Right.
You don't want people to be on edge. You don't want people to be nervous.
That's right.
You know, what you want people to do is be comfortable with you. And if they're comfortable with you, they're more likely to talk to you. They're more likely to tell you things that about some real criminal activity that might be happening. Because when you go to work as a police officer, you're going to protect and to serve. Most officers come in with a grit. They grit on you, and then they come in acting like they got to show you that they're the boss.
Right.
We're in a controlled society. Mm-hmm. And people know that without the police, there is chaos. So there's no need for you to show us anything else. We already know that without you, there is chaos. So you don't have to come in being macho. You come in and with an understanding that I am here to help.
Right.
I'm not looking to cite you. I'm
No.
not looking to arrest you. I am looking to help. And when they had that attitude, if the police officers had that attitude, I'm here to help first, people wouldn't have that negative attitude
Absolutely.
toward police officers. You got to help.
Absolutely. And that falls in line with community outreach, right?
Yeah.
Being engaged with the community, understanding your surrounding, your environment, and the people that dwell therein. So that's it. You're absolutely right, Mr. Hall.
We've had, and I want you to address this. We've had, and one of the things that I think should happen all over the country with these correction officers in the jails, and in the prisons also. But let's talk about the jails, since that's what the show's about. They have recently, a lady from the Chatham County Sheriff's Department got a 20-year sentence for smuggling drugs into the jail. She getting more time than the person she was trying to help. Now, and what needs to happen is that these people need courses or classes every quarter telling them
training. Yes.
Look what happened to this person. If you try to bring drugs into this institution and you get caught, you're gonna get more time than the person you was trying to bring them to. So
that's right.
And I hated to see that, because here there's it's always some young women that get these correction jobs, and then they're trying to smuggle drugs into
trying to help their boyfriends and this and that, and family members,
and it's not good.
No, and that that's pushed on that's pushed on them upon hiring. Don't do this, don't do that. Listen, if you get away with it, you won't get away with it for long. And then when it comes, there's going to be some serious accountability behind it. Why these officers take the chance of put themselves in that type of situation is beyond me. But then you're doing it out there at a place where everywhere you go, somebody it's controlled movement. Somebody has to close the door, open the door, close the door, just for you to move around. And why even put yourself in those type of situations? So yes, it's bad. It is something that you have to hammer in, like you say, consistently with your employees. Constantly reminding them that these are the consequences of your actions if you do that.
All right. Well, Richard, if you would let us know, how can people contribute or find more information about you, maybe going to a website. So share that information with us, please.
Yeah, you can contribute to Richard Coleman for Sheriff. My website is going to be up and running by Monday, right? And so we'll have a piece on there where you can donate. You can also call me. I can come and I can get contributions. I encourage people to, if they want to give, they know somebody who wants to give, come on, reach out to me. We'll take that. But mainly it's going to be on the website where, we'll have that scan code, that barcode, or that donate button that you can give if you believe in what we're trying to do and the change in the direction that we're going in with that office and with that seat. And we appreciate all support. Everything is appreciated and everything is welcome. So
did you have any upcoming events or fundraisers or anything that the people can? I know your website will be up and it'll probably be on there pretty soon, but I heard you saying something about a event that you're having, fundraising event soon.
Yeah, we're looking at doing out in the park, Dr. Brian, over where you did. I believe that was Hitch Park there. That's the target area. We got to solidify things with leisure services with the city Monday. But we're going to do gunshots down, jump shots up fundraiser. Where these teams are coming in, they're paying the entry fees, all that's going toward the fundraising. Reverend Maynard, he's going to have a voters registration drive going on out there at the same time. We're going to sell some food out there. It's going to be a fundraising event as well as an event for me as the candidate to also connect with the community. So we're looking for a good time. We're going to have a live DJ out there. We're looking just to have a good time. This fundraising event is coming up in April. We're targeting either the 20th or 27th or of April. Also, we're looking to have a meet and greet in the Liberty City area. that's going to be hosted by one of the prominent residents out there. You know, I don't want to put his name out right now. We're still finalizing things, but when it comes out, we definitely have it on the website. We should have that also finalized either Monday, you know, or Tuesday. And we want everybody to come on out. And if you want to see me, if you want me to attend an event, you please contact me. My phone number, my contact is all over the flyers, 912-704-3967. It's all over my social media page.
This one right here.
It's going to be the other one. Yeah, it's going to be the other one. The other one, Dr. Hall. It's gonna be the other one. We got it on the other flyer. That one.
Okay.
It's gonna be the other flyer.
These are nice looking door knockers here. I see that.
Thank you. Those are straight to the point door knockers there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Restoring our communities, addressing our crime issues, effective rehabilitation initiatives, improve jail conditions, a voice for all the people, and public safety advocate. Hey, you got a great platform, and we just hope that that working with once you get in office, working with the other departments, that we can have a safer and better community. We want you to promise that you'll come back once more before the election, and then after your sheriff also come back and grace us with your presence.
Unless you don't act like you don't know me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, sheriff.
Right.
Because the sheriff walking about 10 guys around him, right?
Listen, let's just say we don't see you on the other side.
Exactly. Don't let me catch you. But I promise you, guys, I will definitely be back. I really enjoyed you. I really appreciate the opportunity for me to get myself out to the people and explain my position and promote myself as why they should vote for me. And I promise you, Mr. Hall and Dr. Bryan and Mr. Carlton, when I am elected and with the pink elephant in the room has got to be addressed, there'll definitely be history made. I promise you that I will come back to all things relevant media, our black media, and give my thank you, because I don't want Robert, Mr. Hall, or you, Mr. Carlton, to hunt me down in the street. Okay, so I promise you.
Roles, so.
We're gonna see whether we can get you. See if we can get you on the rabble one night. Now that's a tough crew on the rabble now.
I welcome it though.
You think Carlton and Robert got questions? That's a tough crew on the rabble, boy.
The truth will always stand. The truth will always stand.
They don't let nobody slide. Lord have mercy. But we're gonna see whether we can get you on the rabble and a few of the other shows. Have you been on the Little Blakely show yet?
No, she has established the invite. We're gonna connect with her. Hopefully, we can get to her soon. She has offered the invite. She has offered the invite. So hopefully, we can get to her real soon.
Okay. So just let everybody know that where you at all the time. I guess if they go to your Facebook page and then you say you will be up Monday.
It'll be up Monday. Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from any of y'all?
No,
I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the show. I honestly did. I really enjoyed it. I appreciate the opportunity.
Just a statement. No questions, just a statement. I want you to say the aesthetic that you have given us on this show today is a true Southern gentleman. I want you to keep that whole aesthetic going on throughout your campaign, because I want to know people in the South, we appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Y'all, I'm hanging out.
America at the dollar. Lord have mercy.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Y'all, I'm hanging out with my 6-month-old cousin. So.
Okay. So we appreciate you, brother.
Thank you,
Coleman. We wish you good luck.
Thank you.
We'll see you out there on the campaign trail. If nobody else got no questions, then do you have a last statement that you'd like to give us before you go? Just tell the audience in the next 2 minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, your last statement before Robert take us out of here.
Absolutely. Again, thank you. Thank you for giving me an audience. Thank you for listening to me. Listen, this election is very important. You know, right now more than ever, there's a time of change needed, a change of direction, a change of the guard. This is not personal towards anybody, but we need to move this county forward. And I am that direction that moves the county forward in that Chatham County Sheriff's Office, in that Chatham County Sheriff's seat. So I would appreciate your vote. I appreciate your support. And I always say, I can't do it by myself, but if you would see my motto, it always says, together we can. Thank you very much.
You just ended there like a whole preacher. We'll see y'all next Saturday. Next Saturday, Saints House Sit Place. Take care.
God bless. Thank you.
Like this.